together a list of things that one should keep in mind when the elderly live in a shelter. It says cold and influenza are likely to spread at shelters, so people should make sure they wash their hands, gargle often, and wear masks. It also says elderly people tend to experience dehydration. Instead of drinking only a small amount of water to avoid going to the toilet too often, they should take as much water as possible. The group recommends people at the shelter to not stay in the same position for a long time, but try to move around as much as possible. They say it's important to lift your ankles off the ground, and even the elderly should try to do things they can by themselves. The group put together a leaflet and published it on its website. It continues to be cold in the quake-stricken areas, and some shelters do not have heating facilities. The Japanese Society of Mountain Medicine warns that not only the elderly, but everyone has to watch out for hypothermia. Hypothermia occurs when body heat is lost in cold weather. In the worst case, the person can become unconscious and die. The Society says the elderly and young children are more susceptible to hyperthermia, as well as people with chronic health problems such as diabetes. Even healthy adults can suffer from hypothermia when they lack nutrition or are fatigued, or when they have not taken enough fluids, or when they have injuries. To deal with hypothermia, people should take off any wet clothes and wrap themselves in a blanket to keep their body temperature up. It's also important to prevent dehydration. When symptoms are serious, it is also effective to put a PET bottle filled with water warmed up to 42 degrees Celsius under the arms, on the side of the neck, and on the inner thighs. There may also be pregnant women and young children at shelters. A prolonged stay at shelters may negatively affect the health of these people. So the Ministry of Health, Welfare and Labour asked local governments to allow pregnant women and small children to receive their checkups in towns or cities other than the one at which they are registered as residents.
Efforts to extend relief to the quake-stricken areas are spreading. At a shop in Tokyo's Ikebukuro district that sells produce from Miyagi Prefecture, shoppers are donating money. Donation boxes are made of plastic bottles. The shop owner says more than 200,000 yen was donated today. Man says there's so much he could do, but he wants to do something to cheer up the quake survivors. Some employees say their parental homes were swept away by a tsunami. Others say they can't contact loved ones. But the store owner says he still hasn't confirmed the safety of his business partners. Tsuyoshi Ueno says the shoppers are sending encouraging messages as well as money. He says the shop is helping people in Tokyo to show survivors that they are thinking of them. Food and drinking water in short supply. The Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries Ministry says it's either delivered or transporting 710,000 bottles of water and 690,000 packs of food, including bread and rice balls. The move follows requests from Miyagi, Fukushima and Iwate prefectures, one half of which has been met so far. The ministry is trying to secure the rest from food manufacturers and other industries. These images were taken from a condominium in Takajo City, Miyagi, over 1 kilometre from the sea. A man was filming from the 3rd floor, needed to evacuate to the 4th floor after the water started rising. Says time-wise, it was probably only about 5 minutes, but the water was rising rapidly. He says the water was very powerful, and tankers were washed away. Some people were clinging on and others were on top of their cars. It was cold because some time had passed. A couple of self-defense members came by in a boat and helped them out. About 20 people, including elementary school students and elderly people, were rescued. And here are some images from the same location in the evening. Central Kesennuma City has been largely destroyed. The buildings and homes of some 9,000 residents have all been swept away. Tsunami waves even came up the elevation. Man says he was so shocked he just couldn't even think. So far, 1,898 people have been confirmed dead. Over 15,000 are still missing. Rescue and recovery operations are still underway.
Roads in the coastal district of Kamaishi City in Iwate Prefecture were cut off. Many residents had to be helped out by Self-Defense Force helicopters. This woman says her family got separated and she'd been worried sick, but she says she still hasn't found her grandchild. About 200 people were rescued by noon. Some people are looking for their loved ones on their own. This man traveled 10 kilometers on his bicycle to look for his wife. The man says his wife had been working in Rikuzen Takata, so he came hoping to find her. He says he still doesn't know where she is. He has been visiting emergency shelters one after another. The president of a brewing company is looking for his employees. On the day of the tsunami hit, he had planned to celebrate with his staff the completion of the season's sake-making process. He says he has been able to confirm the safety of only half of his 50 employees. The president says he wishes he had advised them not to go near the coast. A convoy of emergency vehicles heads toward a tsunami-hit area. A massive search for the missing is underway. This is the Arahama district of Sendai, where 200 to 300 bodies were reportedly found. Police who couldn't get near the area have finally
said, when a tsunami comes, go to high ground, and if that was not possible, to go to floors higher than the third story of buildings. But that was not enough. The tsunamis this time were too high. So we'll ask our commentator about the mechanism later about this major tsunami. And in Minami Sanrikucho in Miyagi Prefecture and Rikuzen Takatashi of Miyagi Prefecture, we'll take a look at that.
This is Minami Sanriku in Miyagi Prefecture. The tsunami brought about this devastation. We have footage which shows the impact of the tsunami. We see the tsunami approaching. Houses are washed away and the tsunami waves come near the high ground. We can see people trying to flee.